I would say that coming into spring practice, I was telling people that you really need to watch out for this tight ends group because I really think there's a lot of potential, maybe under the radar. One of the strongest units on either side of the ball. Did you share that notion going into spring practice? And now that almost spring practice ends, how do you feel about that group?
Yeah, good question. I think, when you have two transfers, obviously you do your homework on them. So Messiah from obviously Missouri and Bryce from Mount Sac, off film and off video, you feel like you got some talented kids coming in, but you're never quite sure until you can get them on the field and put your hands on them. And then obviously the guys that coming back with Jalen and Case and Ryan, I think coming out of spring ball, I do share some of your feelings on that. I think that we have a lot of ability in the room, and I think that we're going to be a very productive unit. I think we're going to be a unit that can be relied on and hopefully be very trusted in this offense. I like the competition that we have with the group, and that competition I think maybe have been lacking at times in my time here over the last couple of years, where you really start seeing what you want and guys bringing out the best in each other. And it's a good group. They're good kids. They're super fun to coach, hungry to be coached, trying to put in the work off the field and the preparation time. And it's been a transition with offensive changes. And so there's a ton of thinking involved. I don't know about you guys, but I'm doing a lot of thinking. It's hard to just play and cut it loose and let your ability show. But as we're starting to get to the back end of spring, you're starting to see those guys play a little more confident, which equates into playing faster and playing more aggressive and just playing better football. And, we still got a whole fall camp to go, and it's going to continue to be, kind of seek progress, not perfection along the way, and just get better every day. But I do feel really excited about this group of guys and what they have a chance to do a part of this team.
Hey, Justin. Chris Carbon, son of a source. Seems like with Glenn Thomas's offense, you guys will probably be in a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of blocking around the box. So how have you guys performed in that area, and what are your expectations?
Yeah, I think, there's not a ton that's really necessarily new from maybe what we were asked to do, but just the way it's all put together, I think that the role's probably expanded a little bit. And I think even more importantly now is really to develop guys that are complete tight ends. I know you and I have talked about that in the past, but guys that can be dynamic enough to line up, flexed and be a single wide receiver to the boundary or to play in the slot, and then be able to come in and be physical in our gap schemes and be athletic enough in our zone schemes. So it is, it's a challenge because they're asked to do so many different things. And I think it's got to be a group with a high football IQ, guys that love ball, guys that want to be complete players, that aren't just about, hey, I just want to catch 80 passes. And these are guys that understand what they're coming into. I think it helped, obviously, like with Curtis last year, having a guy that is someone that they can look at and say, this is what I want to try to strive to be, a complete tight end that can do things in the pass game and in the run game and like create those opportunities. Yeah, it is, though. I think Glenn, coming in, some of the things we're doing, it's gotten them excited and some enthusiasm. I mean, we watch film and it's some Tony Gonzalez, Atlanta clips, and, there's some stuff there for them to learn from and get excited about.
Doug Hattler, The Athletic. Jalen Conyers came in last year, showed some flashes. Where has he made the biggest strides just from last year to where he is now?
Biggest strides for Jalen are in the run game and in being, kind of trying to be that complete tight end. He was a big high school receiver and a quarterback, and so that piece of it didn't come real natural to him. And that's, something that he's been working extremely hard at, trying to develop the run blocking technique and some of those things that allow him to play to his athletic ability. I think he is a physical kid. We're just trying to give him the tools to play physical football. And so he's really making strides, still got a ways to go. But again, it just helps when you have, guys, like Messiah comes in with some experience in that, and he's very sound fundamentally. Those guys get a chance to kind of feed off each other, and see what it's supposed to look like. I always say coaching's overrated. You got a great room and you got a guy in the room that can do everything you're asking him to do, and that the other guys can look at and say, this is what it's supposed to look like, that's when you got a chance for everybody to bring out the best in each other. And I think Jalen's really along those same lines. And then he's, making his strengths his strengths. He's catching the ball extremely well. He's one of the best, pass catchers that I've been around at any level. He has good feel in the pass game. He's playing fast. And sometimes you forget he's 260 pounds. So excited about kind of some things and the strides he's made during the spring.
I don't mean to jump to fall camp already, but Jacob Newell, I think, is one of those so-called under the radar recruits. Yeah. Really got a lot of recognition even after the football season in some All-Star games. I don't think you've ever been asked about him, but what do you think he can bring to the table?
Yeah, I'm excited about Jacob too, and you're right. I do think he was a little under the radar. I mean, those guys who were in the Northwest only had like a 6-game spring season their junior year, and so we didn't have the evaluation periods last spring in recruiting. So if you were just working off film, I knew that there were going to be some guys up there that maybe had some room to grow, and he was one of those guys. There were some things I liked, not enough to say like, yes, I'm all in, but enough to say I got to be watching this guy the first couple games of the season. Really liked what I saw, and then had a chance when we played, up at Oregon State, went down and watched him in a playoff game, and that's when I was all in on him. And I think he's got a chance to be one of those kind of complete type of players. He's a guy who reminds me a lot of Case Hatch in the fact, not body type. I mean, Jake's 6'4", 225, 230 pounds right now. He just finished his basketball season. He's like a, 20-20 type guy. That was his goals every night. But he reminds me of Case, and I watched him play live. I mean, he plays every play like it's his last. Like, there's very few players that I've seen that play so hard and compete like that on a play-to-play basis. And when you find guys like that and you see that with your own eyes, which sometimes that's hard to find on, like, video or highlight tapes, right? And when you see that, you know that whatever the kid is, you're going to get the absolute best out of him. He comes from a great family. He's got 2 younger brothers, understands it was a team captain, leadership, checked all the intangible boxes. I'm excited to get my hands on him. We were talking last night. He keeps checking in, wishes he was here for spring ball, and just can't wait to get down and be a part of it. And, he'll be a guy that fits in extremely well with the group. Him and Jalen hit it off on the recruit trip. These guys were hilarious. It was like a scene from Step Brothers. So, I just knew it. No, I swear. So Jalen says, I just don't understand why should I make my bet? I mean, I'm just going to get back into it again, right? And then Jacob says, like, oh my God, did we just become best friends, right? So it was just dead on a scene from Step Brothers, and so they hit it off. Like, it's going to be a great group. I'm just having a lot of fun with these guys. Like I said, they're good kids. They care about football. They care about team. Really. Look at Messiah, guy that transfers in from an SEC school. Just super impressed with his humility. Ask around about him. Go talk to the trainers. Go talk to the equipment guys. I've had somebody from every piece of this department come up to me and say, hey, that Messiah guy, he's a good kid, huh? Like, yeah, he is. And that's, a lot of guys aren't like that. And I think that just speaks to, trying to do our homework in this world of the transfer portal too. Do our homework, try to evaluate the person, not just what's on film, and bring the right people in. I know it's been a big part of things Coach Edwards has been talking with us about. And I know in my room I can speak to that. I'm just really excited about the group of guys.
Hey, Coach, Jack Loader, Devil's Digest. Messiah mentioned to us a couple weeks ago that he loves the pass-catching aspects of this offense. He said it's almost like playing Madden. How comfortable are he and Jalen, those guys, in like the 2 tight end sets and running almost like receiver-like routes?
I think it kind of like Jalen, for instance, comes a little more natural to him. That's what he did in high school. Bryce Pierre, you guys probably, he flashed a little bit today if you were at practice. Bryce was a big high school wide receiver that went to junior college and converted to tight end. So his upside is crazy too. He hasn't been playing the position for that long, but he kind of shows out and is comfortable in space, and some of his route running stuff I've been using as an example for the other guys. Messiah was really, he's told me many times, like, all we did at practice was run block. Right, so he's super excited right now to be back kind of developing into that complete tight end type of role. And it also says that I'm telling you guys, his upside is still crazy because he's not close to where his potential is, I think, as far as route mechanics and development, understanding of the pass game. You guys just wait, I think, as you continue to see him build and gain reps, both in concept and understanding what we're trying to accomplish, and in, fundamentals and understanding how to do those things. You're going to see him to continue to be a more versatile player. The one thing all of those guys are doing, everyone in the group's doing right now really well, is catching the football. And we start practice off every day catching the football. And, our kind of two things are like be reliable and be trusted, and our other objectives like be attackers in the way we played. That be reliable piece as a tight end, it's not always like the long down the field catches, right? It's a lot of stuff underneath and first and second level, and you got to make those routine plays. And then you get opportunities for guys like Jalen. He flashed on Saturday with that huge catch on the sideline. If you guys saw that, got 1 foot down, where then those guys can obviously, be playmakers. But I think they're all excited about it, man. They see that they're being asked to do a lot of things. And it is a challenge. It's a challenge in practice to get good at all those things. So just to kind of become our model, like you got to do more with less. We got to be intentional on every rep that we get. You might only get 1 rep. If I'm coaching you in the meeting room, that means I'm coaching everybody else because you might not have had that rep, right? So it's just kind of one of those things. They know it's hard, but it's just they're kind of embracing that challenge, and I'm pretty excited about the way that they're progressing.
And, Coach, you kind of mentioned it there, but, obviously the pass catching huge, but what about the run blocking? Obviously Messiah, you said, came from that, just run blocking, but how has he kind of helped the other tight ends develop with their run blocking? Yeah,
huge help, by example, because he is right now, that person that I can point to from footwork standpoint, from, hat placement, understanding leverage, understanding body position. He's 6'7", and if you watch him on practice field, the kid, he can bend. He's got great body posture and all those things that you need to be a dominant run blocker. And, it really sets, you constantly need someone in the room setting standards, right? So Messiah right now is setting standards. Bryce and Jalen are trying to catch some of those in the run game, and it's making those guys better. It's a huge value to have him in here, and, it's going to end up making everybody else better and keep pushing each other. And he does the work. Like, Messiah's one of those guys, like, all right, what do you want me to do? Just do the work. Coach, you already know I came in to be a complete player. Like, I don't care what it is. Tell me what my assignment is, and let me get lined up and go. Just got a tremendous humility about him. I really, really am impressed with that piece of it, from a transfer standpoint on how he's conducted himself, carried himself, bought into being a team player and making people around him better. And it's going to show in, his production too and the things that he's doing on the football field.